your popcorn, your juice, drink, or whatever. So sit back and enjoy while we go on this journey of parenting. So I would firstly be going into what parenting is. I'll be going back to the definition of what parenting is. Parenting is the art of training a child, bringing up a child, raising a child spiritually first, emotionally, mentally, and physically. That is what parenting is. It's the art of training a child, bringing up a child, raising a child emotionally, spiritually, physically, socially, and mentally. Now, when it comes to parenting, yes, it has to do with two individuals. Yes, two individuals. It has to do with two individuals, which is the father and the mother. So parenting starts with you two. Parenting starts with the couples. Parenting starts with the couples. To me, I see it as at the point of the relationship when a man and a woman are courting each other. It is important to make mention of parenting. Yes, we should discuss how do we want to train our children? How do we want to train our child? What pattern are we using? Obviously, there are patterns of parenting. Yes, there are patterns, there are various patterns of parenting. So we need to discuss these. We should. It is not until we give birth to our children before we start just training them. Don't do this. Do this. Why would you do this? Don't you see that this and this is not good? Don't you see this? No. In order for us to have a relaxed mind, we should talk about parenting with our partner. Obviously, it's not about talking about parenting with our partner, but also praying to God. Parenting also involves praying to God, because you cannot just train a child. Basically, training up a child, bringing up a child is not easy. I would not lie. It is not easy. But going to God, this is me and my partner, God. Whenever we get married, we want you to give us the wisdom to be able to bring up the child you will give us in your way. It is only God that owns the wisdom to bring up a child. It is God. So you go to God and talk to Him. You can decide on the kind of children you want. It is between you and God. God, the kind of children I want. I don't want them to be this. I want them to be this. I want them. That is part of what parenting is. Even before they are born. Before they are born. You can do that. It is a step one part of parenting. So like I said earlier, that parenting starts with the couple. It starts with the husband and the wife first. It is what you have inside of you. It is who you are that will determine what you give to your children. It is what you have inside of you that will determine how you will train your children. In the book of Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, yes, Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, it says that train up a child in the way he should go, and when he grows, he would not depart from it. Simple terms of parenting. Simple terms of parenting. Train up your child in the way he should go. That means train up your child in the right way. What is the right way? The right way is the way of God. So training up your child in the right way is the way of God. The way of God is simply parenting. Putting your child on the right focus, on the right path of God. That is it. So parenting starts with you, the parent first. It is what you have that you can give back. If you have negativity in you, that is what you use to train up your child. If you have positivity in you, that is what you use in training up your child. So it depends on both parties. That is why it is important to talk about parenting before going into marriage, before giving birth. Because in some families, you can just say that, okay, maybe it is the woman that is conscious of parenting and the man is not really conscious of that. Just feel like, yeah, we give birth to a child and they start just growing the child. If you see in that kind of family, when the mother is trying to correct the child, the father might just be like, hey, calm down, you don't do things that way, you're just being too harsh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And the mother can just be like, no, the Bible says we should train up our children. The father can just be like, no, because there is not an agreement between the both of them on how to raise their children. That is part of the problems we have in parents and we have in family. That is why you see some family that they are not in unity and there is no peace. So we need to sit back as couples, as spouses that are about to get married. Let's talk about parenting. Abba, my brother, Abba, sister, it is very important. It is very important to raise a family, to bring up a family that will be filled of God's standard. Requires God Himself being the chief host of it. So you can't go into parenting without God first. We are talking about bringing a child up, raising a child. Number one thing you have to understand as a parent is that you have to know your child. Yes, you can't basically raise a child up without knowing the child. You should be able to study your child. You should be able to know your child. That is how you know how to parent. That is one step on how you know how to parent. For instance, if a person has a child that is not kind of free with people, or kind of, I don't want to use the word stubborn, but doesn't really stick to instructions, then you study that child. What are his weak points? What are his weaknesses? Why would a child be doing like this? You just study your child. Study the kind of child you have. Study the kind of children you have, so that you not just be treating them anyhow. And I said you should do something in the morning, you did not do this, you did not do that, you did not. Mommy and Daddy, please calm down now. Please calm down. Calm down. Know your child first. Know your child first, though. It is very important. Because I have seen some parents comparing child to another child, or comparing their neighbor's child to their child, or comparing their family's children to their children. No, it is wrong. It is as a result of you not knowing your own child. If you know your child, actually no child is stubborn. It just depends on the method you use in handling the child and you praying for God's wisdom in handling a child. No child is just stubborn like that. Except if you don't know your child and if you don't pray. So it is important to know our child, to know our children. That is how we are going to know how to relate with them. Basically, you can't relate with someone you don't know. So that is it to children also. Children are flexible. That's the real truth. Though at times they want to prove, children are innocent. Yes, children are innocent. So it is what part you lead them to that they also follow. It's what they say you do that they also want to do. So children are flexible. It is what you impute on them that they will bring out back. It's just like garbage in, garbage out. Gigo. Garbage in, garbage out. So that is how children is. So it is you that will understand how to bring up a child. It is you that will understand knowing your child and relating with your child. Because if you don't know your child, you will not know the proper way of relating with his or her. You don't know the proper way of relating with his or her. And you not just go about comparing your child to another person's child. No, it is wrong. When you start comparing your child to another person's child, you are laying a bad foundation for the child already. It is very poor and wrong as a parent to compare your child with another child. I will be going into basic tips of parenting. Yeah, I'll be giving 3 basic tips of parenting. Number 1 is parenting in love. Let me tell you something. In a family where there is no love, or in a parent or in a child upbringing where there is no love, certainly there is a tendency of bringing up, I don't know the correct words to use. There's a tendency of bringing up bad influences upon those children. In a place where there is no love, definitely there's going to be hatred, and the hatred will spring out into so many bad devices. So we have parenting in love. Parenting in love. Love is very important. So let your children feel that inward love towards them. I'm not talking about you spoiling your children or you pampering them too much to the extent that they forget themselves. No. I'm talking about showing that love towards your children also. That they'll feel comfortable staying around you. Not like, Coco, where is there? It's daddy. Daddy is back. Hey, no. They'll quickly run back to their room. Or Coco, where is there? It's mommy. Mommy. No, I'm going back to my room. No, that they won't be able to stay around you. That is not parenting. That is not discipline. That is not discipline. So you parent your children with love. It is important. Even the Bible says that for God so loved the world, I gave his only begotten son. Yeah, that is part of love. So show your children love. Let them feel that love. It is not only your partner that needs to feel love. I'm not saying that you should shift the attention and love of your partner, everything down to your children. No. I'm only trying to let you know that children also needs to be loved. Children also needs to be loved. You love them, and when you see they are going wrong, you call them back and correct them. Not you being harsh, being the lion, being the lion all the time in the house. No, you be the lion and the lamb. You be the lion at times, and you be the lamb. You balance everything up together, and you love. You can only train a child up well in love. Even if you want to discipline your child, it is done in love. But when you're just going all about being the child self will not understand what you're trying to correct him or her. The child will just be like. But when you correct the child in love, it is just simply leading the child to the way of the Lord. The child will reason with it and just be like, yeah, what mom is saying is true. What dad is saying is true. And we even come back to apologize. Dad, I'm sorry. Mom, I'm sorry. That is because it is done in love. So whatever that is done in love lasts forever. Whatever that is done in love lasts forever. So number 2 tip is parenting in wisdom. Wisdom is very important. Wisdom is very important. It's a principal thing. Wisdom is a principal thing, and you cannot have wisdom all by yourself, all by your own will. You ask God for it. God, please, the wisdom I need to be able to bring up my child in the way. The wisdom I need to be able to bring up my child in the way you love it and in the way that your name will be glorified. Hand that to me. You pray the child with wisdom. Yes. So parenting with wisdom. That is number 2. You pray to God for it, and also you can also think of what to do when you see that your child is going astray or whatsoever. You can just think of what to do, like, okay, if I do this, if I do that, what result will it bring, what result will it do, or whatsoever. So parenting in wisdom is also important. Parenting in wisdom owns life. Yes, so it's very important. I pray to God for that. It is not easy to parent a child. Yes, I know. But with God's help, it's going to be easy. And the last one I'm going to be mentioning is parenting with knowledge. Parenting with knowledge. It is you feeding your child with adequate information and adequate knowledge in the spheres of life and about God. Parenting with knowledge is about, it is what you give to your children that they also give back to the society. And it is what you give to your children concerning God that they also give back to God. So feeding your children with adequate information, making them know God, is important. It is what you put their legs on that they will stay. It is what you tell them to do that they will stay, that they will do rather, because you are their parents. So train up a child with knowledge is very important. Give them the rightful information they need as at their age brackets. Give them the right. Number 1 is make them know God. When you are parenting with knowledge, make them know God. It is very important for a child to know God. No matter the age. As a believer, no matter the age, it is important for them to know God. Yes, when they know God from their childhood age, then you will see. Let them grow up, finish, and you see what God will use them to do. So you give them information about God. Let them know God. Push them to know God. So those are basic things. Those are basic things, and information about what they need to know. Schooling, life, make them know it. That is how they get the right information. It is not about you just closing your mouth and your child will then hear something elsewhere and will begin to act on it. Because words are very powerful and words are important. Information is very important. So it is not until your child goes somewhere and hears something that he or she is not supposed to hear and will start acting upon it and will start behaving strangely. You will be like, I'm trying my best. Are you speaking up with your child? Are you talking with your child? Are you providing information with your child? let's say for instance your child hears a wrong information. The child can just be like, no, my mommy didn't tell me this, my daddy didn't inform me about this, no, it means it is wrong. Or my dad says it is wrong, my mom says it. Even if the other person is trying to influence the child, no, my dad says it is wrong, the child will come back to you and tell you, daddy, mommy, so person is telling me this and this. Then you not be like, no, it is wrong, don't do it. The reason why the child will be able to come back is because you have left the space for the child to be able to come back. That is because you have trained the child up in love. Had it been you didn't train the child up in love, the child will not be able to come back and start telling you those stuff like that. So parenting with knowledge also is important. Educationally, you train them up. It is not all they do in school that you will also relax them with. No. You are a parent. You are also their teacher. You are their first teacher. You are a parent and also their first teacher. Educationally, push them up. Push them up. It is very important also. And in all spheres of life, make them know. In all spheres of life, provide them with information that will be good for their health and for their life. That will be good for their health and for their relationship with God. So, that is just all on family and parenting. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If yes, kindly subscribe and like. And if you do have any question, you can do that in the comment box. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I love you all. Bye bye.